Harvey Weinstein is now facing new criminal charges in New York. A grand jury returned a new indictment against Weinstein today as the Manhattan DA's office prepares to retry the disgraced movie mogul after the reversal of his rape conviction earlier this year.
We are doing here what we do in all of our matters, which is to focus on our survivors, center them, and as was said in court, we are planning to proceed to trial. But we also have so many other professionals here that support our work and our survivor services. One thing I'm very proud of during my tenure, our crisis interventions, the number of times we intervene and provide crisis services, is up 500%. This is a group that we've expanded, and we are getting them involved in all of our violent felony cases. We are announcing indictments of 30 defendants who allegedly have caused an extraordinary amount of violence and trauma in Upper Manhattan, specifically Washington Heights and Inwood, as part of a long-standing rivalry between the 6-block and the 200/8-block crews. In total, these groups allegedly are responsible for about 50% of the shootings in Inwoods and Washington Heights, 50% of the shootings in the 3-3 and 3-4 precincts this year.
We are holding people accountable literally every single day. We are putting out press releases. We're doing availabilities like this, encouraging people when I'm in, public forums and spaces to ask us about the work, because people are painting with a broad brush. They're not hearing or learning about the particular facts of a matter. And when we talk about them and they know the facts, they're really encouraged by the work we're doing and the strides we're getting. So we're doing it every day. And we know about violence from the trains and also above ground, living here and working here, and I'm responsible for 1,500 employees coming and going safely to work.
Gun violence is a top priority of my office. Together, we've driven down gun violence the last 2 years almost 40%. That's what this collective effort has brought. And that's just a Manhattan-specific number. We are doing enforcement every day. Obviously, that's a core part of our job. But as was said, it's the partnership. It's not just the prosecutors and the police officers. It's the clergy. It's the mentors. It's the teachers. It's the theater leaders. It is all of us working in conjunction.
Ghost guns and a plot to steal more than $1 million. That's what's at the center of what Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg is calling an interconnected scheme. The scheme also involved employees from the NYPD, from the MTA, and NYCHA. In total, 18 people were charged.
District Attorney Albany, and I want to thank him for being one of the leaders in helping devise language, working with Senator Brad Hoylman and Assemblymember Grace Lee to help us have a package of action items that are so important.
I want to talk about how this affects our practice and tools that we need as district attorneys. We work day in and day out here in the city with the NYPD, sitting across from survivors and victims, and it's sobering and gut-wrenching when you talk to the victim of a hate crime, one that is in every sense a hate crime, but not so under the law. So that's what we're here. 31 offenses to be added to the statute. Common sense, yes. Enough is enough. It makes no sense to eliminate the statute of limitations for rape and other serious sex crimes, but not for sex trafficking. We know our legislature makes common sense changes. We've asked them to, again, step in and fix this, pass this simple yet effective legislation that quite simply will allow us at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and prosecutors throughout the state to do our jobs, to hold those who do harm accountable.
Someone out there cares, even if their own families per se don't care. That we care at all. As long as they'll allow us to help them, we'll help them. Do our best to get them into the places that they need to get to in order to upgrade the quality of their lives.
We also have problem-solving courts, diversion courts, where the focus is on accountability and also connecting people to services. It could be drug services, it could be mental health services, and we are leaning into that. In particular, with mental health, the recidivism rates are far lower than people who are coming back from the traditional systems.
Two men served 2 decades in prison for a murder they had nothing to do with. And today, a judge overturned and voided their convictions.
David Warren and Eric Smokes, now in their 50s, as you saw, for a crime that happened when they were just teenagers. New Year's Day, 1987.
In 2022, the DA's Post-Conviction Justice Unit opened a new investigation that found Velasquez's DNA was not on a betting slip touched by the suspect before Ward was shot. Finally, on Monday,
I am granting the petition to set aside the verdict.
He was formally exonerated.
We stand ready to help all who earn wages in Manhattan and who are not paid them. But we're doing the cases, and we're doing them. We're getting people their wages back, and we're holding people accountable. We also started last year with the State Department of Labor a stolen wage fund, so that once a case is resolved, and it has been resolved, but if more workers come forward, that they too can be made whole. So we're asking people if they've experienced this to come forward as well.
Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg says this case was tailor-made for the long-term investigative work of his office's Housing and Tenant Protection Unit.
That really sticks out to us. Again, these are our allegations. We look forward to going into court and proving them. But that jumps out to me. People who would focus on those who they view as vulnerable.
Attorney Alvin Bragg sent various letters to payment apps saying,
I'm concerned about the troubling rise in illegal behavior that is developed because of insufficient security measures connected with your software and business policy decisions.
The country's most powerful prosecutors is leaning on Venmo, Zelle, and Cash App to do more to protect consumers. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg sent letters to the companies warning of a troubling rise in illegal behavior because they have insufficient security measures. Once a thief steals a phone, users are left vulnerable to fraud that's draining bank accounts of significant sums of money.
If there aren't guardrails, if there aren't common sense fixes, we're going to see more of these cases.
The Manhattan District Attorney's Office says youth defendants being charged with gun crimes are learning how to make guns online. The Manhattan DA's office has been working with the NYPD on tackling gun violence in the city.
We have never seen such a large percentage of ghost guns being 3D printed before.
DA Bragg Wednesday called for change.
What we want to happen today is to YouTube to not have an algorithm that pushes people, especially our youth, to ghost guns. Central aim is public safety. We're getting that through accountability, which comes in many forms, and with a lot more work to do. But I'm proud of the work I've done alongside the 1,500 public servants I serve with.